guys, this is the Great Indian Freedom Fest, only we're giving it the CNBC-TV18 twist. That's right, we're flipping the script on what freedom means, because it is not just about breaking barriers or chains, but also being able to chase your dreams and ambitions without financial shackles. Financial freedom, that's what we're here to talk about. Today, we're here at the INSTAMOJO Institute of Management Studies campus in Bengaluru, where we're going to be joined by two very special guests, founders, leaders and role models in their own right. The co-founders of Jumbotail as well as INSTAMOJO will be joining us to talk to the students about their journey towards financial freedom, and hope the students will have something to take away from it. So we're ready to roll. Let's dive right in. Hello and a very warm welcome to everyone here in this room. This is the Great Indian Freedom Fest, the financial kind, brought to you by CNBC-TV18. Now, all of you students here at NMIMS campus in Bangalore, you're at a very important cusp of your life, right? You're moving from pocket money to paychecks, hopefully very soon. And we're here to help you explore that big world out there, which is full of possibilities. And how do you navigate the world in a way where you don't have to face financial limitations while chasing your dreams? I'm not here to answer those questions. I have two very special guests who are joining us to take all of the questions that you may have and learn from their own journey of achieving financial freedom. Karthik Venkateswaran, who is the CEO and co-founder at Jumbotail, and Akash Gehani, who is the COO and co-founder at INSTAMOJO. Welcome and thank you very much for your time here. If I could start by briefly asking you, Karthik, to introduce yourself to the audience, your journey and how you got to starting Jumbotail.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for this opportunity. First of all, I'm so glad to see all these young minds here. At some point, I was actually doing an MBA and being a student on the other side and listening, not so at a very young age like you are all doing. I went to Stanford at 32 years of age, but I had served in the Indian Army for 10 years prior to that. And I chose to serve on the other side of the next 10 years of my life, transforming India's food and agriculture sector. And I specialized in marketplaces. So I went to eBay, then I was director of products at Flipkart, again the companies that you have heard, post my graduation at Stanford. And then I started Jumbotail along with my co-founder.
Akash, quickly tell us about your story and how INSTAMOJO came about.
I did pass out during 2009, which was one of the slowest periods in terms of, wasn't a recession really,
right,
but yes, it was a downturn. Yeah, post the Lehman crash. And that led us to, I joined a startup. It gave me a taste of how things could be, how you could actually challenge things and, do things in a different manner. And from there, we took a few pivots, there were a few ideas that we were dabbling around. And then through that journeys were, how INSTAMOJO happened. And for us, in a nutshell, all the things that we were trying, right, at INSTAMOJO and before INSTAMOJO, it was always in the space of how can we help small businesses, the MSMEs of this country to, do better, to grow their business, to go, adopt technology. And through those ideas and, the journey is how INSTAMOJO started.
Story is very unique, and thank you for sharing yours with us, both Karthik and Akash. So let me just dive right into the topic, right? We're here to talk about financial freedom. Karthik, how do you define financial freedom? The word freedom itself has many connotations. And why do you think it's very important for the youth of today to be aware about it and to start building on it early in their life?
For me, on a daily basis, being able to do the things that I am passionate about, and all the choices, not just financial freedom, but all the choices that I am able to make and all the choices in the past that I have made, that gives me the freedom to make the choice today to go after the mission that we have to transform the food and agriculture sector and the entire Kirana store ecosystem, and what allows me to live that dream and not having to be subservient to many other non-transactional requirements that we have in life, and being able to pursue that is freedom for me.
All right. And Akash, what is financial freedom to you, and how early in your life were you able to achieve it?
In our day-to-day life, freedom is about being able to live a happy life, right? Being able to pursue the things that you want to do, assured of the fact that, you are providing whatever that you need, whether in terms of responsibilities, be it to your family, to your, to your parents, to your children or whoever. But essentially it's being able to live happily, to be able to pursue the path that you want to. And for me, that's freedom, right? It's not about just having a, a hefty bank balance or, owning your own house or, being rid of any kind of debts or obligations, right? It's about being able to live happily and, pursue your dreams. I think that's what freedom is.
Okay, but, how do you differentiate, Akash, then between good debt and bad debt? You said, whether it shouldn't just be about buying that car, or perhaps it should be about taking that trip to Europe that you wanted. How do you distinguish between the two at an individual level, at a founder level?
With every desire, right? Every desire that you have, be it about a house or let's say about marriage or something, you call them intrinsic or extrinsic desires. Intrinsic desires are those that it comes from within you. Today, if I want to buy a car, right, I'm going to ask myself, but what is the kind of car I want? What does it help me do? Right? Is it about going from place A to B? Is it about being able to express myself in a certain manner? And that helps me decide, right? Do I want to go for, let's say, a 6 lakh rupee hatchback or, like a 30 lakh rupee SUV, right? Or maybe something even more. Extrinsic desires are those that, it doesn't come from within you. It's because someone else is doing it. I think it's about being able to identify those, right? Knowing what is coming from inside you. Those are the things that really make you happy. It's not about not taking a debt. Of course, loans are good. It can really help you. It's about, do they help you reach further in your life? Do they help you achieve a bigger goal? Today, if as an individual or as a company, I take a loan, it's for the betterment of the for the company, right? Or for me being able to do certain things better, with the knowledge that I will be able to fulfill this. But yes, all of that will happen if those desires are strongly mine, if it comes from within me, instead of it being driven because of let's say the rat race or competition around me.
But how does one distinguish between the two? And Karthik, we're living in the era of instant gratification, right? We want what we want, the latest phones, the latest sneakers. But, that also brings us happiness, right? So how do you find that balance between achieving your financial independence, maintaining that discipline, and at the same time being able to get the things that bring you happiness?
I define my happiness in some form and shape, being able to serve others in a meaningful way. My first goal, what I did with my first paycheck, was not, I've been observing my mother. The first thing I actually did was get her a washing machine. For me, at that point in time, financial freedom was being able to free up my mother from doing what I thought was a very hard job on a daily basis, and something that she did for me and our family all the time, stepping up. And subsequently, I think whenever I have looked at finances, I've always looked at from the point of view of what is the minimum amount that is required for living my own dreams, aspirations. I'm not like some kind of a saint or a Mahatma Gandhi or anything when I have aspirations. But at the same time, the starting point has always been that how can I make somebody else free, somebody else happy. So that choices that I have made and continue to make even today.
All right, to each their own, I'd say, and that is a noble thing to have done with your first paycheck. I don't know, Akash, what you did.
Well, I actually gifted it to a friend of mine, and we had a kind of a reciprocal thing. He also did something similar for me. So yeah, and then what I realized, instead of gifting it to him, maybe I should buy a few shares and into his name. Which is what I did. The share tanked, so well, did not really go anywhere.
But, Akash, was there a point in your entrepreneurial journey where you realized the importance of financial freedom and what a game changer it could be? And thereafter, how did it impact your decisions going forward?
See, first of all, in terms of happiness and freedom, right, it's something that keeps evolving, right? What I would have thought of happiness or freedom 10 years back, vis-a-vis what I think of it today is not the same. Maybe a decade back, I felt the best way to spend money would be like having a great time out or a trip with my friends, because that what led to a lot of collective happiness for us. Today it's a very different thing, right? So it keeps changing, and it's a journey where you always keep asking yourself, right? You keep looking inside you and seeing, okay, what is it that really makes you happy at that particular point of time. But having said that, over the years, yes, it definitely has changed. And the way we look at it is very, very different, right? So in the sense of, So like I said, right, one of the first things, early on in my career, when I left a corporate job and, joined a startup, right, that led to a whole different perspective. Because prior to that, I would be meeting my friends, like every week, right? We would meet, we'd have a drink. And what I'd realize is everyone was stuck in a similar rat race, right? No one was really happy with the job, but then everyone was kind of addicted to the paycheck. And, that essentially dictated their life, right? In terms of, buying a house, buying a car, taking a loan for it, and the moment you're able to fulfill it, then you move to a bigger house, right? And then you buy 1, 2, 3, and you just, it's like, a ladder that you keep, or rather a treadmill that you're always running on, right? The first thing that I did is, when I left my job, I pulled myself out of it. And that led me, suddenly I was in a position where I was earning maybe like, 20% of what my, rest of my friends do. And that changed my perspective entirely. And, I never really got back into that race in a similar sense, because then I started questioning myself, do I really need that money, right? I used to feel happy for the fact that at the end of the day, I would feel happy in terms of what I've achieved in the day. Every morning I would feel excited because of the kind of things I'm going to be doing in the day, the kind of things I'll be learning, the kind of people I'll be meeting, right? And I don't think there's ever been a time over the last decade where, I have actually, of course, I won't say it's not been stressful, it's been extremely stressful, but it's also a journey that, you enjoy navigating. Right? I never felt on a single day like, oh yeah, maybe if I wish, I had, let's say, a bigger house or, a better car or like, that pair of, that watch or something, right? It's never occurred to me. And because of that, I feel I've been able to devote my time to other things, right? And I think which is what has meant a bit of happiness and freedom for me.
How do you start? A lot of us will be starting our journeys with a relatively smaller paycheck, for instance. How early in your life do you need to start planning? There's the pressures of your parents telling you to settle down, to buy a house. How do you go about navigating all of this?
Most people think financial freedom is having an asset. I do not agree with that. So first of all, if you invest in a house and it is, multiplying and you are paying your EMI, let me tell you this. The earlier you have these kind of obligations, the more limited your career options become. Because now you cannot choose something that has a, even if you put a mathematical curve, y equal to mx plus c, m is the slope, and you should be optimizing for the m in that linear curve, not the c. You could start with the lower constant and then have a higher slope. And sometimes people are not able to make that choice because they've actually made those choices earlier in their life.
Akash, do you think there are some myths or misconceptions about the idea of financial freedom for the youth of today that really need to be done away with?
I think one thing as an advice, if I have to give, right, is especially early on in your career, don't optimize for money. Optimize for the learning, optimize for the, for the kind of people you are working with. Because the moment you start optimizing for money, right, maybe you'll find a job which either will not make you happy, or you'll switch a few jobs and search for that higher pay. What it does is it leads to all sorts of negative consequences over time, because one is when your pay shoots up, your lifestyle also shoots up accordingly, right? And then you kind of become a slave to it, and before you realize you're stuck in a kind of career or a job which you don't really enjoy. At the same time, I think no matter what, right? Of course, it's not about not spending money, right? Go buy that iPhone, make that purchase if it, makes you happy. They do, of course, help in, increasing your quality of life and everything. But do ensure that you have a small nest egg for yourself, right? Let's say if you, for whatever reason, right, and the world is getting more and more uncertain over time. So ensure that you have at least about 3 to 6 months, maybe 6 months at the least, of, of backup money with you. So at least that gives you the freedom that, yes, if I'm not really happy, if an emergency strikes or something, right, I can leave my job, right? I can go and do something. I can stay with my parents, or like, maybe I can serve something, right? If, let's say, working in an NGO makes me happy, at least I can pursue that path instead of being stuck, in some place which you don't really enjoy.
Let me throw it open to the students here, and anyone who has a question for Karthik or Akash, please introduce yourself and pose the question to them and fire away.
Yeah, hello. I'm Sahil Kulkarni. So my question is that Mr. Kipchoge, the world champion marathon runner, actually believes that the disciplined people are the only ones that truly experience freedom. And in that sense, what do you see in respect to the financial freedom, and in both terms, individual as well as entrepreneurial?
I think discipline goes a very long way. And I think no matter what you do, no matter what kind of a path or career that you are in, it's all about discipline. And discipline isn't about, following a timetable or something. But I think for me, discipline is about doing the little things right. Right? You keep taking care of small things. It's about the work ethic that you put into every single thing. And the moment, you are in that position where you're doing the small things right, the bigger things work out by themselves. You can't always impact the big things because there is a whole lot of luck and chance and everything that goes into it. But there are small things, the way you do things, the way you react to things on a day-to-day basis, that's within your control. And if that's all you can impact, you might as well, put in your best effort on that.
I'll add one thing on the discipline part, apart from whatever he said. The power of compounding. To me, discipline is about the power of compounding. I believe that consistency in whatever you do actually gets you very, very far along rather than accuracy. Say, for example, when you are saving, let's say even if you put money in stock markets, right? If you're trying to get it accurate today and get it like very, very inaccurate tomorrow, you're eventually going to end up and revert to the mean. But if you're consistent in your savings, if you're consistent in taking a very long-term approach to stock markets, there is enough evidence to prove that consistent, disciplined investors are the ones who are eventually making money rather than day traders, right? So therefore, I think that is true for, let's say, a saving habit. That is true for a pursuit of anything. Day-to-day discipline, like if you are a runner and if you are actually having certain time and you are tomorrow, waking up every day and showing up and then again, improving the time even by 1%, that itself compounds to 365% or something like that. There is some forward you can all read. So I think that is helpful whether it is in pursuing financial freedom or anything in life.
Well, even the best of fund managers are not able to beat the index in the long term. So that's one example to take away. But thank you very much for your question. We'll pass it on to the next one.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Karthik Bansal. Sir, many great personalities in the world who have achieved financial freedom actually have many conflicting views when it comes to how they achieved it or investments. Like Warren Buffett mentions, his one regret is that he started investing in market too late and how everyone should start it very early on. The author of Rich Dad Poor Dad mentioned that how you should not invest in the share market but invest in real estate, or how using debt and taxes because that's the real money, not currency or something like stock because it's manipulated. So how should we make the choices as individuals of what we should do to become financially independent?
It is very easy to fit narratives in retrospective, but if we were to ask the question, did Warren Buffett do certain things to achieve financial freedom? Was that his goal? Or for that matter, anybody who has actually done that, right? Is financial freedom the end, or is it an incidental outcome? That's the first question that we need to address, fair and square. When it becomes your end, I do not believe that somebody who is telling something how he has traded and this is the way you do, I don't believe that, that kind of prescription any longer works. It's a point in time decision that they took and eventually they're trying to retrospectively narrate. Take the good ones but make your own decisions.
Very good afternoon, sir. My name is Shubham Jadhav. Everybody sitting here is sitting in a different car. So do you think that it is okay to let go the financial security in search of freedom?
See, it's always, it's a question you have to ask yourself, right? What is more important for you? And I believe yes. But again, right, it's upon you, upon your personal circumstances. Is there a family out there, which is dependent on you or not, right? And what is, or you say, are you in a position where you can say, okay, my family doesn't depend on me, or rather, let's say I have a cushion to to fall back upon, and this is the time for me to take, certain risks, right? I can, go out there, try to, let's say, start on my own, or maybe just, let's say, travel and, figure out some opportunities around that. So I think it's all about that. You have to ask that question for yourself, like you said, right? Everyone's in a different car, everyone's at a different destination. Right? The roads might be similar, but the roads will converge and diverge, right? So it's not the same journey, same path for everyone, and it's for all of us to ask that question to ourselves.
So I was quite inspired by the journey of INSTAMOJO as well as Jumbotail. But I understand that when you start an entrepreneurial venture, there's a lot of risk involved. So tomorrow, if any one of us finds an idea which you're very passionate about to solve some kind of problem, but there is a risk involved. So in that terms, like what would be the one learning you've had in your journey to make sure that we can sustain our financial freedom while we're on this entrepreneurial venture?
Don't roll the dice and take your chances. Then who else will? If not you, who? If not now, when? That's the question. And you will be standing at those opportunities when these questions have a very clear answer. And at that time, you look to your left and you have a great co-founder. You look to your right and you have a great family. Then take the chances. But for that to happen, you should have invested the last 10 years of your life in getting to that point. It cannot happen overnight. And that goes back to Akash's point, right? Invest in relationships, optimize for meeting people, optimize for knowing them without an agenda. If all of those things have to happen, all of those things will compound and this universe will conspire, as alchemist says, to help you succeed. Go bindas.
Well, Karthik found his co-founder in college. You never know, the person sitting next to you might be the one you start that next venture with. But go for it, your question.
There are many budding entrepreneurs here, like who want to start their own startup. Is there any right age or are there any right qualities that one should possess before starting their own startup? Can you shed some light on that?
No, I don't think there is a right age. I think it's about, do you find something that you're really, really passionate about? And is this something, that will make you, spend sleepless nights, something that will make you put in all the effort behind it? If that is the case, then sure, do it. Of course, having said that, along with it, you do like a very objective, non-emotional analysis, right? Is it a good space to be in? Is this enough of a problem? Is there enough of a need? And all of that. But yes, I don't think there is any right age or something. Having said that, no matter what age or what position you're in, do understand that, yes, it will involve sacrifices, right? So you will have to give up a lot of things. As Karthik said, right, your lifestyle will have to take a back seat. You may have to let go of, fancy night outs and parties, maybe the next iPhone and everything else, right? So you cannot have everything. But yes, if you feel something really passionate about, and if you think this is something that needs solving, that's something, which has customers who will pay for it, go for it.
How many of you here want to be entrepreneurs and how many of you would rather take that cushy MNC job? Entrepreneurs, hands up. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, goodness. I think back when I was in college, this would be the reverse. And that wasn't too long ago. But anyway, we'll take the next question.
Actually, my question revolves around this one book which I had read. It's by Robert Kiyosaki. In that, he says that your income needs to fund your wealth, and your wealth will support your incremental lifestyle. So my question is that how do we create a wealth which is going to fund our lifestyle, which will eventually lead us to a financial freedom?
See, there's a mathematical answer to this question. It's quite simple. It's discoordinate cash flows. If you know, okay, you are happy today. What's your job? And you don't want to leave this. If you want to create enough wealth that can keep creating this outcome as after taxes that's in your pocket. Let's say that's 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs. Whatever be your lifestyle, it could be anything. You have to get to that point of savings. When you get to the point of savings, you still have a choice of, if your cost of capital is like, a 6% FD and that's the risk that you're willing to take, then the quantum that you have to, save is a lot more. So therefore, I don't think you will ever get to that point. Let's say if you want to have, 30 lakhs of income without having to ever work again, and you just want to put all of your wealth only in that, then I don't think you will ever get to that by saving or working in MNCs and getting in that company.
All right, Akash and Karthik, thank you very much for sharing those insights. It's been a pleasure speaking with you and hearing your fabulous stories, and I hope the audience had a lot to take away. So thank you all for being a wonderful audience, and thank you both for sharing your stories. On that note, we're going to wrap it up. Goodbye and many thanks for watching.